Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about the science of people at work. Why do we click with some people and clash with others? Understanding this stuff, well, it can change everything.
Seriously, haven't you ever wondered about that? Why you just instantly get along with some coworkers, but with others, it's just a struggle? Well, it's a question we all ask, and the answer, it's in this really cool field called organizational behavior. So yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so what is organizational behavior, or OB? You can just think of it as the science of people at work. It's super practical, you know? It's all about figuring out how to improve job performance and honestly just make the workplace a better, more effective place for everybody.
Right, so if we're going to understand the whole workplace dynamic, we've got to start with the most basic building block, right? And that's you. It all starts with your own personality.
Okay, so a classic starting point, one you've probably heard of, is this idea of being an extrovert or an introvert. Extroverts, they get their energy from being around people, from all that social interaction. But introverts, they recharge totally differently, usually through some quiet time, drawing energy from their own thoughts and ideas.
But let's be real, that simple split is just scratching the surface. Modern psychology gives us a much more detailed and, frankly, more useful map of our personalities.
And this leads us to what's called the Big Five model. It's like a huge deal in modern psychology. It says our personality isn't just one thing, it's a mix of these 5 core traits. So, for example, that one coworker who is always on top of their deadlines, probably high in conscientiousness. And the person who's always smoothing things over and keeping the team happy, that's a classic sign of high agreeableness. So just take a look. Where do you think you fall on each of these?
So, personality kind of sets the stage for who you are. Now let's talk about how it shapes what you actually see.
I love this quote. It just nails the whole idea of perception, doesn't it? Our behavior, it's not based on what's actually happening out there. Nope. It's based on our unique, personal interpretation of what's happening.
See, our brains are constantly running everything through this filter to create our own personal reality. Think about your boss giving you feedback. The actual words they say, that's just raw data. But how you interpret those words depends on everything. Your past experiences, your mood that day, your own personality. It's all filtered.
So, to keep from being overwhelmed, our brains use these little mental shortcuts. But here's the catch. These shortcuts can lead to some pretty big mistakes. Take the halo effect. That's when we see one awesome thing about someone, maybe they're super charismatic, and we just assume everything else about them is awesome too, which isn't always true. Or stereotyping, right? We judge someone based on a group we think they belong to. These kinds of unconscious biases can cause so much trouble at work.
All right, so we've got our personality blueprint and the filter we see the world through. So what's the third piece of the puzzle? What is it that actually drives us to do anything? Let's crack the motivation code. Okay, you've probably seen this one before. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The whole idea is that our needs are kind of like a pyramid. You've got to take care of the basic stuff at the bottom, like food and safety, before you can even think about the stuff at the top. I mean, it makes sense, right? You're not going to be worried about your full potential if you're stressing about where your next meal is coming from. So, building on that, a guy named Frederick Hertzberg found something really interesting. He came up with these things called hygiene factors. Now, these are things that don't really motivate you, but if they're missing, man, you're going to be unhappy. It's kind of like the Wi-Fi at a coffee shop. You don't get all excited that it's there, but you'd definitely be annoyed if it was gone. The real motivation, the stuff that actually gets you fired up, he called motivators. And that's things like feeling a sense of achievement, getting recognition, or doing work that feels important.
So this is the big question, right? How do we take all of this, personality, perception, motivation, and actually apply it to the crazy challenges of the workplace today?
The workplace today is just constant change. Think about it. With globalization and diversity, our teams are this incredible mix of different personalities, cultures, and ways of seeing the world. Then you've got this idea of temporariness. The skills you need today might be obsolete tomorrow. And on top of all that, the whole work-life balance conversation is changing what actually motivates people. Trying to navigate all of this, it absolutely requires a deep understanding of why people do what they do. This is where understanding all this stuff becomes a superpower. When managers get how different people see the world, what drives them, and how their personalities bounce off each other, they can build teams that aren't just stronger, they're more innovative and way more adaptable. It's all about turning those challenges into real opportunities. And really, here's the bottom line. If you can get a good handle on your own personality, your own mental shortcuts, and what really gets you going, you're going to be so much better at understanding and working with everyone else.
So, I'll leave you with this question. After everything we've talked about today, what's just one small thing you'll try to do differently at work tomorrow? Something to think about. Thanks for watching.